Now that folks are getting ready to see their families for the holidays, it's time to have important conversations with them.
Yeah, and so this includes talking to your family about their health history. This morning, we're going to be talking to Vina Pena, a breast cancer survivor, and Dr. Michelle Shen. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
So we've got you both on Zoom. I'm going to direct my questions to Vina first. Just tell us about your story, your diagnosis.
Sure. So my journey started in May. I went in for my routine breast exam, routine mammogram, really with the leadership and the help at Memorial Hermann, and then Dr. Shen found something that was of concern. And then a series of processes led to double mastectomy in August.
Oh, wow.
With the diagnosis of invasive cancer. And so, what I'll say to everyone, I have fully recovered. So now it's December, several months after the surgery, I'm back in full speed mode.
Wow.
But the most important message for me is to say, hey, I'm so glad that I had family and friends that supported me through this. And our conversations have changed now.
Yeah.
So now we're more intentional about saying, hey, you can get screened for cancer right in your backyard. And you don't have to drive all the way downtown. And let's talk about these things, not just share holiday recipes and pray for one another and do the things we would normally do during the holidays, but let's take advantage and talk about, hey, did you know grandma had this? Did you know Aunt so-and-so had that?
Yeah, give real life-saving information here. I mean, you value your health, each other's health so much, but that information can really save someone.
And Vina, had you acquainted the story that we're talking about today, the conversation we're having today could be and would be probably very different. Why, talk to us. These conversations aren't always easy. They can be uncomfortable at times. Talk to us about ways that, maybe you suggest people go about starting these conversations.
It's fun that you mentioned that. So we have everyone in our family from 14 all the way to 94. And so even over Thanksgiving, as we gathered as big groups, as we had friends and families and associates coming together, we made it a point to tell stories about those in our family. So we talked about grandma and what her life was like. And she died from stage 4 cancer in 2015. So we made, before we might have danced around that topic and what it was like for her, we didn't do any dancing. So we wanted to be very intentional about, and hey, did you know we have an aunt that lives in Dubai and this is what her health history is like. And so really it's amongst us women right now because we've been talking about breast cancer, but even the fellas are getting into it and talking about it as well.
Yeah, I know that this isn't limited to the Hispanic culture, but I know especially in Hispanic families, you don't talk about your health. It's a secret, or you have code names for it. Like, oh, they don't do good with sugar. You just dance around these topics a little bit. But Dr. Shen, I want to address a question to you now. What are some of the other health issues that we should be asking our family members about? Like, in addition to cancer, why is this important to bring up? And I might also add too that isn't the genetic component of cancer only like 20% or something?
Yeah, and the genetic component is really low. So I think, if you were to scan a patient population of 100, you might find, 2 or 3 that might have like a gene mutation associated with breast cancer. I think it's important just to be aware of the trends that are occurring in the family, health trends, diabetes, heart problems. And I think it will get patients, or family members in to see the doctor earlier, getting your heart checked out, getting, just blood pressure and being more preventive. So I think more education, more knowledge is very powerful and protective as well. The genetic components, I think, are important as well. You could see a trend. They're not, you may have a family that has a lot of breast cancer, ovarian cancer, but they may test negative, but that doesn't mean that they're not with risks, that they still need to continue with either high-risk screening or very routine screening, like mammograms. And it applies to men and women both, like Ms. Pena had said, that men may not be as high risk of getting breast cancer, but sometimes there are links to prostate cancer as well too. So the more knowledge, the better.
And Dr. Shen, more knowledge, and then your doctor gets to look a little closer to you. But there's still a lot of mistrust in the medical world. Well, people will say, oh, they're going to go look for something. But tell us about the importance of early diagnosis.
I think the earlier, like in Ms. Pena's case, if the earlier the better. We've come such a long way with breast cancer treatment. The theme is more leaning towards less is more these days. The earlier, the better in terms of it's more, you have more surgical options, in addition to minimizing the amount of treatment that you may need, such as radiation, chemotherapy. So in Ms. Pina's case, I think she didn't need any further treatment aside from surgery. So that was, definitely a blessing. And so I think, the longer you wait, the more progressive the cancer has become, the more treatments that will be needed, such as chemotherapy, radiation, more extensive surgery as well too.
Yeah, and today we're talking about breast cancer, but this really goes beyond just breast cancer. This is applicable to all sorts of different diseases and of course populations, men included. So have those conversations.
Yeah, and Vina, you're doing well.
Look amazing.
Just since May,
great.
I mean that's
incredible.
That's a really short time to look and feel as good as you do.
I'm very grateful. Really great church family, neighborhood. I had the casserole chain going on, and just truly the friends and love that we've had over the holidays have really just helped me increase my healing. And I had great doctors, I will tell you. So thanks, Dr. Shen.
Yay! I love to hear that those support groups still exist. It's so important to lean into that community. We are so happy that you're doing well. And Dr. Shen, which hospital are you at? Where was this detected?
Sorry, I'm at Memorial Hermann Sugarland.
Very good, just down the street from us.
Yes.
Ladies, thank you so much for chatting with us this morning. Happy holidays to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.